Hello, Rebecca Yarros fans, or those curious about the hype. This is for you. We're talking all things theories for Onyx Storm, which is Rebecca Yarros' third book in this Empyrean series that started with Fourth Wing, which was my favorite. If you have not read it yet, save this video for later and come back when you have. And if you're wavering whether to read it or not, just do it and then come back and thank me in the comments. Number one. What are we going to see? So, one, I'm going to believe that we're going to find out or focus more on the Empyrean or the dragons. Remember, the series is called the Empyrean series. It's not called the Basgaeth people series or anything like that. It is the Empyrean series. So I think this is going to dive deeper into the dragons, the history that they have, the Wyvern, how they were created to begin with. Because remember, there is a reference to Violet thinking that there was a horde of Wyvern and saying it was a dark storm. Storm, Onyx, kind of ominous, right? And remember, Wyvern have this onyx in them, also the stone. And so there is something there. We'll dive into all of this soon. But I also think there's more that is going to be revealed about Violet's family's past. So maybe there's going to be some journals, some more journals that are uncovered, maybe some of Violet's dad stuff. Like, how the heck does he fit in? There's so much mystery around him and who he is. And there's that comment from Violet's mom, right? That she is the last of his father or her father, but yet she still has a sister at that point, even if she didn't know about Brennan. So something weird is going on there. Is she really from the same dad as Mira and Brennan? Or is there a god? Is there I don't know. There is something there, and I think more will be revealed on that in the coming book. Maybe three, maybe it's going to go into four. I don't know, but there will be more revealed about her family's history and also Xanon's. And I also think that Arik and Sloane are going to take a larger part of the story, and perhaps there's going to be something between Arik as the king's son and powers there and Violet. And I know a lot of people might not want to hear that. And we're not going to jump ahead yet on all of the potential romantic relationships and all of that. We'll talk more of that and endgame predictions later for sure. But first, if you are new here, I'm Amy. I'm a working mom that loves books. Fourth Wing made me start a book talk, which then led to this book YouTube fairly recently. But I read all genres. All genres. Fiction is actually pretty new. And I also have a lot of kid book recommendations. So if you're a book lover like I am, let's be friends. Follow me, subscribe, do all that. Now let's get all things spoilers. Remember, we're starting spoilers, so if you haven't read it, now is the time to hop off and save it for later. Put a like though, will you? Okay, let's talk about titles. So her titles in the past, there's been Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and they have usually just meant one thing. It's not like there's this mixed meaning. Like Fourth Wing was the wing that she joined. This is the crew that got cemented. They're the ones that did all kinds of things together. It revolved around them and how they learned Biscay. So Fourth Wing made sense. Iron Flame was this one thing, right, that they needed to get up to protect. So it's this one thing. It wasn't this mix. So Onyx Storm, I think, is going to follow a similar trend where it's going to talk about one thing. However, there are so many different directions that this can go. If you have things that you picked up in your reading, maybe you annotate the heck out of your books and you go back to it, let me know. Let's create more theories together. All this, I want this to be interactive. Okay, so there are things that I actually looked up because I had theories about Violet's second signet, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a bit. But as I was looking into that a little bit ago after Iron Flame, there was a lot of mythology, a lot of symbolism, a lot of name things that she took in writing this book that had meaning to it. And so I looked up Onyx and I looked up Storm. And I know there's definitions that we have in our heads, but I wanted to see what was out there as far as definitions. And one of the things that was interesting was Onyx is a protection stone. It says associated with night, strength, perseverance, ability to overcome challenges, and this stone absorbs negative energy to give strength to the wearer. So when I thought onyx, immediately I thought of the color and how in the book it had always described Xaden in his darkness, his eyes, all that. It even referenced Terran's color, onyx. And so it might go to this darkness, this automatic Xaden reference. And we know that there is going to be this storm brewing inside him now that he is Venin, right? That he turned Venin at the end of Iron Flame. So there's going to be this push and pull of, I want to be with Violet, but I shouldn't because I want to protect her and I can't be close to her because I might hurt her. So I do think there is going to be this big dynamic of a storm within him, but I feel like it is bigger. And when I looked up this definition of it being a protection stone, that puts it into a different perspective also. And I started thinking about this onyx in the wyvern. Like, is that a protection? Why are they using onyx in these bad characters, these bad flying creatures? And what does that do? So I don't know if there's going to be a complete turn of events where wyvern actually aren't bad. I don't know. And I also started thinking about onyx. If Terran is described as onyx, which is black, right? So is Coda. Is there going to be something between Coda and Terran? Because we know things have been brewing. But was there a storm or a fight against the wyvern that caused Andarna to be left behind until now? And this goes into the history of the dragons because we know that there was some sort of history where she was left behind. And you know, that big, beautiful speech where she was sleeping for all this time until Violet was foreshadowed and she knew, and Darna knew that Violet was going to be hers. That just made me tear up. I hope it made you tear up, or not hope, but I would love to know if it made you tear up too. But she knew that Violet was going to be hers because Violet was special. And I'll get to that in a bit too. There's so much to unpack, so much to unpack. But this is also why I love this series. There's so much to think about. Things are written so intentionally that you might miss it, but then when you go back and read it again, there is so much foreshadowing, so many clues that make you go, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense now that I'm looking at it in hindsight. So I need to go read this again for sure before January 2025 when number 3 comes out. Storm is the other definition I looked up. It is a tumultuous reaction or violent disturbance of the atmosphere. Now, that might seem pretty normal in how we think of a storm. And we can think of all kinds of things. The first thing was, well, of course, Violet has lightning and Lilith had her storm capabilities. And so is it Lilith and Violet, which is kind of interesting if you have Onyx as Xaden and Violet as the storm side of it, right? But I don't think it's that too. And I really, really hope we don't see whiny Violet in this, oh no, oh no, oh no thing that we kind of saw quite a bit of in Iron Flame. And I did not like her whiny, questiony, you have to tell me everything over and over and over part. So I hope that we get spared too much of that in number 3. Violent disturbance of the atmosphere, this whole thing, right? is so I'm not quite sure where to take that other than I think everything is just going to be blown up. And I know they have to stay in Bezgaev because the wards are stronger. And so Venin can't be as strong there. And so for Violet's safety and for people's safety, they have to be there. And Xaden will probably be there perhaps a lot of the time so that he's not as powerful. but we know they could still channel there. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss with how else this could be. But I also looked up the meaning of Zayden, and it means cleansing beam of light. So I don't know if he needed to turn Venin in order to save the Venin or save people from Venin. And I really, really hope that he is not like this Jesus character that has to sacrifice himself in order to save people. Because we know Rebecca Yarros does not shy away from offing people and ripping people's heart out. Ahem, ahem, Liam. Ahem. We know we were all gutted by that. And so we know she is not shy about that. And who is more of the question for book 3, not if, in my opinion. Tell me your guesses, but not Riddick. He's so funny, so lovable. I can't take another lovable person out. But then who else, right? I mean, Sawyer, you can't take him either. He's worked so hard to get here. And Rhiannon, she, oh, best friend, right? Can't take her. I don't know if it's going to be Zayden, but it's not going to be in 3. Even if that were the case, that would be like at the end. Um, I just hope he is not that cleansing beam of light, the making everybody clean with his life kind of thing. Okay, so Onyx Storm again could be Zayden and the storm and his being Venin. How does he take part in being Venin, and yet how does he help Violet and the cause that he was so strong for, right? Because there's so many people that he still cares for that he needs to help. Or it could be in reference to the past and what happened to create Wyvern in the first place. Like, why are they created with Onyx? What happened to the rest? What happened to Andarna's lineage? So much significance there in how you bring it to the future or to the current Violet's state of what needs to be done. Maybe it's going to be Mira. Maybe it's a sacrificial sister thing. Someone will be offed in 3. Love to hear your guesses. Now let's get to romances, because I think there's going to be something with Arik. He's the king's son. There's going to be some sort of need to be close to Arik. I mean, they're close already, Violet and Arik. I think there's going to be something there. Or y'all are going to hate me, but gasp, Dane might come back in the picture. I don't know. Is it possible? Can he have redemption? Can he be the good guy after all? And everybody hated him at one point, but now can we come back to love him? I don't know. I don't know. It's a possibility, but I am clinging to the hope and belief that Dane is not going to be endgame. Arik is not going to be endgame, but Zayden is endgame. Are you with me? Are you with me? It is going to be a long road to get there, but I still believe that is going to be my final answer. Now let's talk about its second signet. Rebecca Yarros has said herself that everything has already been revealed for us to guess what her second signet is. And I have talked about this in another video, but I think her first signet is not just lightning. That is the way that she uses it, just like she was told when she was training, right? That she just does not know how to use this raw power that she has. And I truly think she has the power to make things happen the way that she wants to, and she pulls it out of people as well. And so she can sense how people need to use power. And so she does amplify, whether it's amplifying her own or amplifying other people's, because we know she has amplified and she has used that. We have seen it with the Rhiannon pulling of the weapon. We've seen it on a few other occasions with Mira. And so we know that that can happen, but I think that is still her first power that she has not realized yet that she can use in those different ways. So I think her second signet, in my other video, I had said that she's kind of an intermediary between worlds. I think there is still something there, but I think she is kind of an intrinsic in the sense of being able to use her senses almost between worlds. Like she has this really heightened sense of smell that is alluded to in a lot of different cases. Like with the poison thing that they were given, she knew it was not water because of the smell. And she talks about smell in a lot of different cases. Like when they go underground, she has this off feeling. She knows something's wrong because of the smell there. And there are many, many times that she does that, and she can see Liam in that scene, right? Is it because she is an intermediary, she has these senses to go into different worlds, I guess, the death world and the alive world. She's the intermediary, and I don't know what to call this power, but I'm calling it the between worlds house, the intermediary power. And because she has that, she is able to sense and feel and see, even though he's no longer alive. His spirit is there, right? And so, if that is the case, maybe this is going to be a really good thing where maybe we're going to see her talk to Lilith. Maybe we're going to see her talk to Dad if he's actually not alive anymore. We don't really know. And I still am wondering if it's the sage. I don't know. I kind of don't think so, but I'm still not 100% against that. It very well might be. And I'm trying to think of other ways, but she has had different feelings and her senses have been very, very heightened in knowing intuitively. So is that kind of like an intrinsic of knowing and feeling? It's a gut feeling. I don't know. Call it what you want, but I think she can go across. And I still think that there is something that happened during her birth when she almost died that gives her this thing, right? And if her mom was Venin or became Venin at some point, she's part Venin. I don't know. I don't know if she is part Venin or not. She's definitely an intermediary. She is definitely the person that they need to go across worlds. And it kind of goes with the chameleon thing for Andarna too, right? Where Violet can be this chameleon that goes between worlds or realms or whatever you want to call it to be the person that either gets the information or sees the things they need to survive, to protect, to save the people. Agree, disagree? What do you think? I want to hear it all. All right. The last thing is, how will this cliffhang? Because we know that it will. One did, two did, and she loves these cliffhangers. And it makes us talk about it. It makes us theorize. It's brilliant. I just don't know what this cliffhanger is going to be. Is she going to turn Venin so that she can save people? Or it's like, I'd rather be Venin than live without him? Or is Dad going to come back as the sage and try to claim her? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this some more and see what the most absurd, heart wrenching cliffhanger will be for this. Nothing better happened to Taryn. Not my Terran. That is what I immediately thought of when I thought of heart-wrenching. If something happens to Terran, oh, there will be a riot. There will be a riot. Definitely from here. But oh my goodness. I'm going to think about that. If you have cliffhanger ideas, I want to hear them. If you have thoughts about any of this, I want to hear them. And if you enjoyed this video and love chatting books, like clearly I do, remember to hit that subscribe and follow so you don't miss any of the updates I have on this book series or any other book series, as well as kid series. Give me all your thoughts in the comments as we wait until January 2025 and keep spiraling together. 2025 is so long, but we'll hang in there together. So see you in the next book chat.